Shavua Tov, everyone. Welcome to video number 19 in our WhatsApp series. I adopted this story many years ago from the rendition of my friend Tzvi Meir Kohen, who posted it on his website, baalshemtov.com. Recently I changed the title to be The Master of the Good Name. Rabbi Yitzchak of Jehovah, who was a big tzadik and a leading Kabbalist in the generation, he was the father of Rabbi Yechiel Michal, who also became a major disciple of the Baal Shem Tov. So Rabbi Yitzchak of Jehovah came to his attention that the Baal Shem Tov was using powerful kameot to accomplish healing and other miracles. Kameya is a kind of amulet that is a piece of parchment enclosed in an amulet, and usually with holy names of God inscribed on the parchment. He disapproved very much of making use of God's name for these kind of purposes, and he used his mystical powers to make them to cancel their effectiveness, and that's what happens. He said the formula that he said, and instantly all the kameot that the Baal Shem Tov had given out stopped working. When this came to the attention of the Baal Shem Tov, when people were complaining to him that his kameot weren't working any longer, so he investigated, and he was able to discover that this was because of the decree, so to speak, of the Kabbalist Rabbi Yitzchak of Jehovah. It wasn't long after that that Rabbi Yitzchak of Jehovah was coming to the Mezibuz area. So the Baal Shem Tov used his extraordinary powers of mystical concentration to cause Rabbi Yitzchak to lose track of the days. So he arrived in Mezibuz on Friday, Erev Shabbos, but he thought it was Thursday. So he rented a place to stay in an inn. He rented a room, and he was tired from the traveling, so he went to take a nap. When he got up, it was getting close to sunset, and he saw that the staff was running around. The inn was running around, very busy, and he asked them what's going on, and they told him, "What are you talking about? It's close to Shabbat, the holy Shabbat day." And he said, "What's wrong with you people? It's Thursday." But one after another told him that it was Friday, and eventually he had to believe them. He got very upset that he had become confused, and he hurried as quickly as he could to prepare for Shabbat. Actually, it was only when he stepped outside of the inn and saw that many of the townspeople were also in a hurry and running around preparing for Shabbat that he finally came to accept what they had told him, that it was Friday and not Thursday. So when he was in the midst of his hurried preparations, there was a knock on the door of his room. He opened it, and there was Rabbi Yisrael ben Eliezer, the Baal Shem Tov himself. The Baal Shem Tov said, "Please, I request of your honor, please do me the honor of being my guest for Shabbat." And the Rabbi Yitzchak said, "No, I can't do that because the innkeeper has already prepared a Shabbat meal for me." The Baal Shem Tov said, "That's not a problem. I spoke to the innkeeper, and he's willing to allow you to leave and have the meal with me instead of at the inn." Rabbi Yitzchak still didn't agree. He said, "Look, I'm accustomed on Shabbat to eat very much, and I don't stop eating until I'm completely satisfied. I don't think you have enough food for me." The Baal Shem Tov assured him that's not a problem, that he had prepared a lot of food in his honor, that he had heard about his needs on Shabbat. And so finally, Yitzchak of Jehovah was good and ran out of excuses. So he felt he had to accept the Baal Shem Tov's invitation. Now, when Rabbi Yitzchak of Jehovah said that he eats a lot on Shabbat, he wasn't exaggerating. He himself fasted from Shabbat to Shabbat. I assume he drank, of course, and whatever, but he basically fasted from Shabbat to Shabbat. And on Shabbat, after Kiddush, he had this large silver platter, which was inscribed with one of the holy names of God. And each course that was served, he would pile it on his silver platter and eat it until everything was finished. So that Shabbat evening, when he ate with the Baal Shem Tov, he ate every single scrap of food that the Baal Shem Tov served him, and finally the Baal Shem Tov ran out of food. And Rabbi Yitzchak was upset. He said, "You said you prepared enough food for me, but you didn't. I'm still hungry." The Baal Shem Tov apologized profusely. He said, "Well, I knew I was expecting an angel, a malach, but I thought a malach, a regular angel, one of God's messenger angels. I didn't know that my guest was going to be a seraph, which is the highest level of angel, a consuming fire angel." When Shabbat ended, after Havdalah, the Baal Shem Tov finally confronted Yitzchak Vidrohovich. He asked him, "Why did you take it upon yourself to stop the efficacy of my kameot, of the amulets that I give to people to help them?" Yitzchak replied curtly that it's forbidden to make use of the names of God for such mundane purposes. And the Baal Shem Tov said, "But I don't use the name of God. I don't write the name of God in my amulets. I write only my own name, Yisrael ben Sarah." Rabbi Yitzchak was shocked. How could it be that such amazing healings and other miracles could come not through the power of the name of God, but simply from the name of the person who was inscribing the amulet? He told the Baal Shem Tov, "I'm sorry, I don't believe you." It was only when the Baal Shem Tov had one of his amulets brought in, one of his kameot brought in, and he opened it and showed it to Rabbi Yitzchak, that he was able to believe it. He was very overwhelmed by the discovery such a thing was possible, and he was very, very impressed. So he said what he had to say in order to restore the power to the amulets. What did he to the kameot of the Baal Shem Tov? What did he say? God Almighty, if such wonders can come from the name of this man alone, why should you mind?